Number 7, Gian Albano. Number 25, Attila Opley. Number 16, Mohammed Omar. Number 9, Hamish Woodson. And number 17, Kelvin Whitney. Substitutes for tonight's game, number 20, Jordan Gifkins. 19, Nicholas Glavan. Number 13, Ivan Gurdic. Number 8, Caleb Milkovic. And number 4, AJ Guinea. There's your squad for the Melbourne Knights. Hume City, make some noise! In goal, number 1, your captain, Michael Weir. Number 5, Daniel Dixon. Number 15, Hayden Tent. Number 4, Paul Wilson. Number 13, Matthew Lazaridis. Number 10, Stephen Hewitt. Number 18, Benjamin Erla. Number 14, Mitch Cooper. Number 11, Theo Margelis. Number 8, James Bell. Number 19, Marco Delic. Substitute for Hume City, number 20, James Kaplanovsky. Number 9, George Howard. Number 16, Thomas Harris. Number 12, 24, Umut Bushkaram. And number 12, Mark Objay. There's your 2 squads for tonight's Dockerty Cup final for 2019. As the players look to make their way out to the pitch, make some noise!
Hello everybody and welcome to the 2019 Dockerty Cup final as the Melbourne Knights and Hume City get ready to do battle. Here's the Melbourne Knights in their traditional home kit of red, Hume City in the red shorts but the away of white, as both sides now are out onto the pitch for a historic day in Victorian football, one of the most successful and long-term cup competitions is the Dockerty Cup. So Hume City be looking to try to win it for the first time. They've been to the semi-final on regular occasions over the previous years. Melbourne Knights, the most successful club in the Dockerty Cup, and they'll be looking to try to win their 10th game of the season. As we are now getting ready for the national anthem. our national anthem done as we get pumped up for this big cup final. We can go through the starting lineups first through the Melbourne Knights with Harry Chakarun, who's had a long-term injury absence with a broken finger, back in the starting lineup tonight. A back four of Nikola Jokovic, Joey Franjic, Aidan Bryce and Corey Sewell. In midfield, it's Anthony Duzel, Calvin Whitney and Jan Albano in front of them. Attila Offley and Mohamed Awad on the wings with number 9, Hamish Watson, the big Kiwi forward, leading the line. On the bench, it's Jordan Gifkins, Nick Glavin, Ivan Gergic, Caleb Mikulic and AJ Inaya. For Hume City, it is Michael Weir in goal with a back four of Matthew Lazaridis, Hayden Tennant, Paul Wilson and Danny Dixon. In midfield, it's Ben Bowler, Stephen Hewitt and Theo Marcallis. And out wide, it's James Brown with Mitch Cooper and Marco Delic up top. On the bench, it's James Kaparanovsky, Mark Ochang, George Howard, Thomas Harris and Umut Buzdugwan. As both sides now going through their pre-game routine. My name is Chris Gleeson. Welcome to the commentary, Josh Parrish, for the Big Cup final.
Delighted to be here, Chris, on such a big occasion, such an historic tournament, one of the oldest competitions in Australia, and as you said, the Melbourne Knights going for their 10th cup in their history, the most successful club in Dockerty Cup history. Would be a momentous achievement for them. Hume City as well will be looking to spoil the party with... They've really been the surprise packet of NPL Victoria this season, I think you'd say. A young squad, a young head coach as well, playing some fantastic football, and they've really sealed their place in the finals, but some silverware would really top it off.
And you could see in the background just before then, they've brought a huge amount of support of Hume City, especially from the Turkish community, for the Red and White Army, the Melbourne Croatia, Melbourne Knights fans in front of us in the commentary area as we get close to kick-off. It is Jack Morgan, the man in the middle for this cup final. Alex LeBeur and Max Hanlon are his assistants, with Lockie Keevers, the fourth official. It will be Hume City to kick off, and maybe argued that this is possibly the biggest game for Hume City in their history. And we are now away in the 2019 Dockerty Cup, proudly presented here by Mitre. There's a few streamers cause havoc on the pitch straight away, but it's Hume City who have a loose pass to start. Mohamed Awad, only chance to show his trickery. Still managed to retain the ball. Almost got past Danny Dixon, but the bigger frame was able to get the ball and Hume City clear. It's great atmosphere so far, Josh.
Certainly the hype around Hume City and the active support has really kicked up a notch in the last couple of months with their FFA Cup run, of course, getting through to the round of 16. They've really gathered and garnered a fervent following on the sidelines with that fantastic active support that involves, I believe, a lot of the youth players at the club, some father-son combinations in there as well, Chris.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of the juniors have sort of helped out with this, the new active support that Hume City have put together, which is great. The more active support at local NPL level is more fantastic. You see them jumping up and down the game, momentarily having to stop to get rid of the streamers. So a bit of magic of the Dockerty Cup early, Josh.
Certainly doesn't quite match the duck we saw midweek at Knight Stadium in the FFA Cup, but welcome distraction if there was such a thing.
It will also be a little bit into this game too, with the Melbourne Knights having to back up from Wednesday night. The real height of playing in front of over 4,000 fans.
I think it really puts the spotlight on the Knights' condition now, going with not entirely unchanged lineup, but only, I think, 2 changes from the starting 11 that faced Adelaide. That turnaround time is pretty tight, especially in an intense game like that. How will the Knights be able to back it up?
The ball at the moment is Jurkovic's header. Goes to Hume. Jurkovic with another great challenge.
He'll be fresh, of course, having missed the FFA Cup game due to suspension after the 2 yellow cards he picked up against Kingston. Looking to prove a point, certainly after that heartbreak of missing the big occasion.
And both sides got to the final with Hume City defeating Moreland Zebras 1-0 with Marco Delic from range, and Melbourne Knights beating Bulleen on a very windy night at ABD Stadium by 2-1. Hamish Watson getting the goals there, and he's scored a lot of cup goals in this run through FFA Cup qualifying.
So windy it was that night that we saw an Olympico corner curled directly into the top corner. I'm not sure if maybe the player who scored would claim it was all his application on the ball, but pretty wild evening, and the Knights did well to recover from that early freak goal and come back and win that match and seal their place in the final.
That's the Knights on the ball. Albano with an early nutmeg. Ball finds its way to a wad. Now Albano again. Hume City do well to not allow him to get the cross in, and it's out for a throw.
Saw some of the technical combination play that those two are capable of, certainly at the heart of creativity in that team.
Now it's Sewell. Driven cross in, almost a free header to Offley. What a start that would have been against his former side, Attila Offley. He's very disappointed in himself.
Couldn't quite get the clean connection on that one, just glanced it well wide of goals. A very presentable chance early on for the Knights.
And that's what Corey Sewell can present as a full-back, left foot or right foot. He whips in some delicious balls as Weir finds Danny Dixon. Spent a little bit of time at the Melbourne Knights. Now ball forward, Brown. James Brown's forced back. Anthony Drizel, who's had an excellent season.
I think those runs on the right-hand side from Danny Dixon are something to keep your eye on, the number 5 for Hume City. Converted winger to centre-back for a lot of this season, now at right-back today, so maybe those attacking inclinations will be unleashed.
Well, Hume City did cause a lot of problems for the Knights in their NPL fixture early in the season, which they won at ABD Stadium. They really do push the wingers really high up the pitch, the full-backs. Hewitt nearly gets caught in possession. Ball finds for Watson. Trying to play it through to a wad. It's cut out by Tennant. Now Delic. One back by Sewell. In the end, it's a really solid challenge coming through from Paul Wilson.
Yeah, connected there pretty strongly. It was a superb tackle from Corey Sewell to prevent that Hume City counter-attack and set Knights away. Hamish Watson feeling the brunt of that challenge early on from Paul Wilson, who will be looking to really assert that physicality early on in the contest.
Now it's a set piece here for Sewell.
Hamish Watson is someone who relishes the physical stuff. He looks to be walking a little gingerly at this point.
Delivery comes in looking for Jurkovic. In the end, Dixon gets it clear. Chakarun.
Interesting to see how Harry Chakarun goes today as well. Coming back from that broken hand that he sustained just before the FFA Cup tie against South Melbourne that sent Knights to the national stage. He's preferred to Jordan Gifkins today. He's done an admirable job filling in for Chakarun in the intervening period. Actually a former Jimmy Mackay medalist, Jordan Gifkins, but left on the bench today.
He did that opportunity with Bentley with Ryan Scott injured for the Dockerty Cup a couple of years ago at ABD Stadium. Made a string of excellent saves, but unfortunately they couldn't win the penalty shootout. Heidelberg got the points that day in the cup. Here's Dixon. Trying to tease, and he'll find it through looking for Brown. Good challenge comes in by Bryson, goes out for a Hume throw. Now Marcellus. A real fan favourite for Hume City for many years is Theo Marcellus, as the ball's now cleared.
So known to most football fans from his ill-fated stint at Melbourne Victory, but is well loved here by the Red and White Army.
Just those goals he scored, especially in those early FFA Cup runs for Hume City. He's actually probably found the best form he's had for a couple of years over the last month as Marcellus. Hume try to get it back, and two Hume players have a laugh as they kick the ball into each other. Let's get it back. It's a bit of a cagey start to this game.
Most cup finals start off cagey, Chris. It's both teams with so much pressure on the line. It's difficult to express themselves early when they know what's at stake. Generally see both teams clam up, and it's often the team that can relax and get into their rhythm first who gets off to the best start and prevails on the day.
So now the ball's with Hume City. Bowler finds a little bit of space in midfield. And have to go back to Tennant. And as always, you can always message through on the Facebook Live. Let us know your thoughts on the Dockerty Cup final, anything related here in Victorian football, who you think is going to get the trophy today.
Peter's come through saying, I didn't know you were allowed country flags. Well, I think he might have missed the big news, Chris, the repeal of NCIP.
It's great to see as well. Hume give it up quite cheaply. Whitney. Now here's Watson, chance to curl it, but that was pretty comfortable for Michael Weir. He's not happy with his defence, giving the ball away so cheaply.
Huge chance begging from the Knights there. They didn't really make the most of the opportunity that was presented to them. That shot from Watson, I mean, surely you can get a closer range effort from that situation. It looked like they were outnumbering Hume City, but maybe just slowed it down a little too much.
Another nervous moment for Tennant. The Knights will get the ball back. Corey still waits for a ball to come over. They've pressed pretty high, the Melbourne Knights, so far in the first 6 or 7 minutes of this game. Of course, a few turnovers for Hume. And they try to work it in a tight area, wide. No chance for Sewell again. Cross comes in this time. It's comfortable for Michael Weir.
Keep your messages coming through on the Facebook Live. Brandon Barnes is watching. Standing on Thunderstar. He thinks Hume are going to win. Tony's watching from Albury.
And Josip, who we would have seen on a few of the commentary streams this year, says, hello Chris and Josh, great commentary team. Knights to make it 10, 3-2. An entertaining match that'll be if it ends 3-2. Now Hume trying to go forward. Good challenge. Franic gets it clear, looking at Watson. He's going to find kindly here for Dixon. Bowler and Marcellus. So again, quickly closed down. Knights really aren't letting Hume City breathe on the ball at all.
I think Knights will try and hit Hume City in transition, trying to press them in areas in the middle of the field, force turnovers. Hume City with most of the possession so far.
It's Brown and Lazaridis. Now the ball over the top. Marcellus and Cooper. One of them who can get there first. In the end, they got in each other's way. And it's easy for Chuckaroon to start the counter-attack.
Sure, Nick Hegarty would have been screaming, put a name on it, fellas. Very promising ball over the top from Hewitt. As we know, he has that in his locker to pick out those passes. Just really needed a bit more communication.
And the Knights make them pay. Giselle finds a wad who comes inside. Now Corey Sewell again. Wad's been everywhere so far. He has been the creator since coming to NPL Victoria. Albano, ball's taken away from him. Marcellus, and now there's space for Brown. Now Hume can get the overlap going with Lazaridis. Trying to play it in towards Cooper and Delic. In the end, Bryce gets it clear. Now Wad. It's a little bit too long there for Watson. A better moment from Hume City.
Certainly moving the ball around well. Very promising start from City.
As Lockie Smith says, Hume to win and young star Tennant to win, best on the Jimmy Mackay medal.
He was last season's best and fairest for Hume, so wouldn't be a stranger to individual honours.
Ball goes out again.
It's a very young side Hume have assembled here. Mostly early 20s, a few experienced players here and there.
They've got a really good mix in this squad. Giselle Now Jurkovic, a couple of homegrown talent. Now Albano. And just can't find the right pass through. Hume City with Hewitt. Turns into trouble and in the end gives the ball away. Offley goes on a drive and puts it wide. And in fact, the foul has been given before that.
Hamish Watson not too impressed with the decision. Wouldn't have counted from the Hume man himself, Attila Offley.
Hume will restart. Paul Wilson, who's been a real standout defender in NPL Victoria this year. Coming across from Adelaide United Youth. A few players have done that. Blake Carpenter at Dandenong Thunder the same, has made a real impact in NPL Victoria.
Even Mark Otcheng, who's on the bench today for Hume, former Adelaide United player, had a couple of stops on the way though.
Chakarun goes long. Nikola Jurkovic. Gives it away to Lazaridis. Now Bowler. Soon trying to build it up. Once again, when they go into wide areas, the Knights snuff out another attack. Hume will get it back now. And there's a bit of room in front of Danny Dixon. Clips it in. Jurkovic is going to be there though. Once again, gives it back to Lazaridis. Chance to get across him with the left foot. Keeps it in. And Dixon's made his way to the back post. The cross comes in. It's a good header away there by Bryce.
Threatening delivery by James Brown, but really it's his movement off the ball that I'm always impressed with. It was his run that Danny Dixon was attempting to pick out with that early cross in the previous action. Now Hewitt.
Now Dalic. Bit of a relevation for Hume City since coming into the starting lineup. Started the year playing a lot of under-20s football.
Certainly a fiery character.
And technically gifted on the ball. Just hasn't really got as many goals as he probably would have liked, but George Howard, who's spent a bit of time for Hume City on the sidelines through injury, he's the one who's stood up and led the line. And it's Watson, rolls his defender. Going to drive it forward. Good challenge coming from Tennant. Ball forward looking for a wad. Hume only half get it clear. Another chance here. Now Whitney. Albano can just slide it through to a wad. And the block by Dixon sees it out for a corner.
Good use of the body from Hamish Watson there. That's the kind of physicality that the target man can provide. Even actively goes into defenders to seek the contact and let them bounce off him sometimes, as we saw on that occasion.
That's when he's at his best, when a player gets right at his back real close, and he's such a big man. He's very agile and turning pretty quick and uses, as you say, uses that frame. Now it's Corey Sewell with the corner. Cross comes in. Michael Weir in the end was able to collect. Looking for the quick throw, but Cooper tells him to slow down, and now they'll move it out to the far side. Lazaridis can drive it forward. Cooper's made a good run through the middle, and the ball's found it through. Mitch Cooper for Hume. Chakaroon, what a save with the feet. From one end to the other by Hume City. Now Mark Callis trying to turn. Cooper off Sewell. And it will go out for a corner. Big opportunity for Hume.
Huge opportunity. It all started with the distribution from Michael Weir. Fast counter-attack. I was waiting for the offside flag to go up. No such flag arrived, but it's the man making his return to the starting 11, Harry Shakarun, who comes up big. That stray leg just... He's judged that really well to try and cover as much of the goal as he possibly could, and Mitch Cooper, you're wondering how he didn't score.
Now Stephen Hewitt ready to take the corner for Hume. Everyone's bunched up around the penalty spot. Comes in low. Ball lets a run through, but that was easier for Drizel to get it clear. And Albano. And he gets the foul. It's interesting to see that Melbourne Knights have their FFA Cup kit on today.
Well, the two competitions are rolled into each other these days with the qualifying. The FFA Cup and the early rounds of the Dockerty Cup. The same exact competition, so I suppose it makes sense. And given those gorgeous Melbourne Knights kits, I mean, why wouldn't you want to wear them more than once?
So the Knights are out of the Cup, as we said, on Wednesday night against Adelaide United. Hume City getting through past Cooma Tigers and now have a date in Adelaide. This Adelaide Olympic. Ball forward, Marcellus gets there in front of Franjic, who leaned into that, but the high boot has been penalised. Very brave from Franjic.
Putting his head where most players wouldn't.
One of the connection between the two. Joey Franjic was part of those early FFA Cup runs for Hume. Now Wad. So can't find a teammate. Around the corner by Tennant. Found Bowler. He's given up the ball, and now they can move it forward. Here's Caleb Mikulich to a Wad. His numbers now get in the box for the Knights. There's plenty of room for Sewell. Cross was a bit too narrow. Now Marcellus. Early releases towards Dalic. And he'll get there in front of Franjic. Everyone's trying to come back and cover. Dalic. And Bryce well positioned. For Wad. Loses out to Dixon. It's the game opening up a little bit, Josh.
Yeah, we're seeing the lines a little bit more stretched now. Both teams have pace to burn on the counter-attack.
Now Jurkovic for the Knights. Now Offley. And passes the ball along, and Michael Weir will be able to collect that.
I think it's that kind of play that has really plagued the second half of Melbourne Knights season. Just the inability when they're pressed to actually play through those lines and keep possession. We saw so much of it a week ago against Kingston. Cheap turnovers and not being able to build anything from the back. When they get opportunities in transition, the Knights are very effective, but when they're in possession and do apply that pressure from the front, which Nick Hegarty has certainly set out to do, and haven't really stood up to it.
It's another cheap turnover at the back from him. A Wad's ball into the box. Wilson, not only did he get the right position, he cushioned it to his teammate. Now Marcellus. In the end, no foul being given. Jack Morgan waves away the appeals from Theo Marcellus.
Very certain of the decision as well, referee. Wasn't falling for that one.
Anthony Giselle.
Maybe a trick Marcellus picked up at Valencia as a youngster.
Now it's Albano. Plenty of room for him to turn. In the end, left it a touch a bit heavy. Lazaridis took it away from him. Now Brown. In the end, Sewell got in the right spot. Now playing it through. Hamish Watson. Lazaridis got back. Goes out wide. Jurkovic. Let's now try to slow it down. They can't find the right pass. And that's a Wad. Offley. Trying to go the first time effort. Gets the jeers from the Hume City fans.
I wonder how the relationship is between Offley and Hume City supporters these days.
He's almost leading the goal scoring a couple of years ago near the halfway part of the season before making a stop to Heidelberg United and now the Knights this year.
That ball has just kicked up off the turf horribly for Danny Dixon. Looked like it was going to about chest height at most, but it's gone over his head and out for the throw.
In pre-game we did have a bit of a look at the pitch there. The players were really digging up the turf quite easily with their training drills.
Certainly had a lot of rain in Melbourne here over the past couple of days.
It's the one thing about Kingston Heath, though, it does drain really well. So, as we can see, I think there was an under-20s game today at Olympic Village. It had to be cancelled because of the rain today, but it's quite dry conditions out there for the players. And Dixon, ball I won't get there. Franjic off the chest. Does well to Aiden Bryce. Marcellus almost fell into his path. Now the layoff goes to Marcellus. trying to turn back inside. It's easy for Chuckadorn to pick it up.
Heart and mouth with the Knights there as Jurkovic went into that tackle. It's probably not the kind of slide you want to be making inside your own box. It's the one criticism you might have of Nikola Jurkovic is just that judgment, when to go in for the tackle, when to maybe jockey and hold off.
Brendan Barnes also said Nick Hegarty to come on and score the winner. I've sort of been waiting for Hegarty at the start of the season to become a bit of a player coach, but he didn't pull on the boots and he's very happy with just focusing on the managerial side of things, as now it's Watson. Fields opens up for him. Muhammad Awad onto his left foot. And it was a great opportunity for the Knights, but the shot, he went for too much power and sliced it wide.
I think it's just rolled a little too far left of him and he sliced it. It was beautiful play from Hamish Watson, turning a defender, laying it off. Awad just needed to get his first touch on the ball earlier and get it under control. Tried to let it run across his body and chance goes begging, but Hamish Watson looking very lively early on here.
Both sides have had a couple of opportunities to open the scoring in this game. You know, games are always about these little moments and who can make the most of it. So far, no side has been able to. Wilson and Bowler just getting a horrible mix-up. Luckily, it falls back to Bowler. Now Hume hold on to it. Ball through. Marcellus to Dalic. Drives it forward. Looking for support in the box. Clips it in. It is Theo Marcellus. And in the end, that little touch he got on the ball took it away from Dixon anyway and out for a goal kick.
Promising build-up. It was earlier in the play, the third time that Hume City players have actually got in each other's way this evening. Marcellus draws the jeers from the Knights fans in the end. It was a promising attack though. And you mentioned a little earlier on, Chris, the managerial situation at Hume with Nick Hegarty, club legend, deciding to focus only on coaching. It's the opposite situation at the Knights with Marijan Cvitkovic stepping in as caretaker. I think both of these coaches have a lot more football in them if they wanted to.
It's not the first time the Knights have done it too, with Ben Suri taking over the player managerial duties a couple of years ago. Hasanovic took over last year, but the Knights really wanted to retain him, but the other opportunities called for him. Ricky Colina obviously let go earlier in the season, where at that stage the Knights were in the top six.
A very controversial decision amongst the Knights fan base, really split opinion, the sacking of Mickey Trolina.
Ball goes out for a throw. In the end, with Oakley's point last night, the top six is all but secure, so the Knights will be missing out on the NPL finals. Funnily enough, the Knights and Hume City do play next weekend in the NPL Victoria. Goes out with Hume City will be just fighting for the highest position they can get in the top six in the next couple of rounds. Now Albano trying to roll Wilson and get the throw. Got a physical battle in midfield so far between the two sides. Brown versus Sewell. Sewell wins that one. Ball fell to Brown. Delic tried to bring it into his stride. And he's got to chase after it, Bryce. So there's great noise out here. Great atmosphere for this cup final. This probably could be the biggest moment in Hume City's career or achievements. And back in the defensive half for the Knights.
Of course, they did make that memorable run to the FFA Cup semi-finals a few years ago.
Just been a bit unlucky getting to a lot of semi-finals in recent years. Now Bowler Hume City through Brown, curls it. James Brown opens the scoring for Hume City. And their star man is on the score sheet once again. Hadi Chakaroon gasping at air, and it's James Brown and Hume City who take the lead.
He's been a revelation this season, James Brown. What a strike. He has picked that out beautifully, curled right into the top corner. Harry Chakaroon with absolutely no chance has to watch it go by him. But the man who scored 14 MPL Victoria goals this season adds perhaps the most important goal that he will score in a Hume City jersey. What a strike.
Well, it was a goal worthy of any sort of game, a Champions League final. But here in the Dockerty Cup, it is Hume City who takes the lead. 26 minutes gone. Both sides, as we said, have had opportunities, but it's Hume who strike first. And the Knights have to chase the game from behind. They did manage to do that against Bulleen in the semi-final. Now what? Albano, straight away the Knights try to get back onto the attack. Now Sewell. And then Tennant gets it away. Cooper. Lazaridis versus Offley. It will be Hume City. Get the ball. As you can see, look at the crowd there behind Hume City's dugout.
They're certainly enjoying themselves now. What a start to this first half for James Brown.
Financial let that one go through. Here's Chakaroon, who really had no chance with that shot from James Brown.
He's had a bit of a journeyman career, Brown. He's played in the A-League.
Oh, here's a chance. Cooper off the crossbar. And in the end, Chakaroon will get there. Bit of indecision at the back, and then Cooper tried his luck, but Hume City almost 2 goals in a minute.
My goodness. What a strike. The question I was thinking was, did that ball actually bounce down over the line? It seems not.
And in the end, bowler gets the foul. Giselle's not happy, kicks the ball away. Jack Morgan just gives him a warning, but something you don't really want to do in a cup final, get a needless yellow card so early in the game.
Certainly not. It was almost even worse for the Knights though. Harry Chakaroon caught off his line after a cheap turnover.
Whitney.
That's the kind of magic that James Brown and Mitch Cooper are capable of. They've played together at least 3 different clubs. Must be great friends off the pitch, and they're always game enough to go for those kinds of long-range shots. They back themselves.
That's in it. And in the end, Giselle robs him of the ball. Jack Morgan gives the foul, much to the disgust of the Melbourne Croatia fans in front of us.
Can't see how that was a foul personally, but the referee saw it different.
Now back with Tennant. A very good young defender, but has had a couple of nervous moments on the ball in this game so far. Ian has to be forced back to his goalkeeper. You see a little bit more confidence in Hume City as they're slowing the game down a little bit now that they've taken that lead. Baller. Go the big crossfield ball. Bounce was a little bit difficult for Dixon. And the Tennant can't find a teammate, and here goes Aidan Bryce. Room in front of the big centre back, but he couldn't find the right pass. Mark Kellish tried to slide in. Dujal. Wilson gets it away. Now Hume will try to start the counter-attack. James Brown. The only option he's really got is Dalic, who goes wide. He looks to turn inside. Cooper. He find the right pass. He does get it through to Lazaridis. Now Brown again. Can James Brown create? In the end, Jack Morgan waves away another shout for a foul, and we'll have a throw-in.
James Brown a little unlucky not to get the free kick there. Did have hands on him from Attila Offley. Referee letting the players play and trying not to get involved too much, it seems. Which is probably what you want in a cup final, to be honest.
Jack Morgan is one of the most brightest young referees we've got here in Victoria. He's been given A-League opportunities in the past too. And Hume will surely get the foul for that one. Jack Morgan's going to come over to Aidan Bryce, who steps out of that back four again with another crunching attempt of a tackle.
I don't think it was as bad as it first looked. May have certainly hurt that connection on Steve Hewitt, but it seemed to be just sort of in his stride. Took a loose touch, tried to step out to stop the player, and Hewitt was already off the ground to try and protect himself. Went flying, of course, but I don't think there was really any malicious intent from Aidan Bryce on that occasion. Referee just giving him a telling off rather than reaching for the pocket, which I do like.
It's good to let little things go, a little bit more spicy for a final, because I don't know what it sort of means to the players out here.
Certainly, I think that kind of game management is important, talking to the players rather than just talking through the bookings. If they're necessary, sure, but if you can get away with not picking a player, it's probably preferable. As you see Joey Franich actually running all the way up to a centre forward position to try and press, and now they've got a defensive situation.
Well, here's a chance for another Hume opportunity, and this time it goes over the top. Once again, James Brown was there for the cutback. Aidan Bryce's header couldn't find the safety of his goalkeeper or touch. Once again, that connection between Cooper and Brown. This time fires over the top.
Gold Coast, Newcastle Jets, Nunawading City, former teammates. Now they've linked up at Hume City. And they link up pretty well on the pitch, don't they? Knights just didn't deal with that situation at all well. Real scare them going 2-0 down.
Now Hume again. Delic can't take it in his stride. Now Offley. Use of the body by Attila Offley. And it goes through. And Nikolic. He's it for Duzal. And Mohamed Awad, who started the game so strongly. Gets the cross in. Watson can't get the header. Here's Offley with the volley, and it goes wide. Michael Weir with the big dive. It wasn't far away.
Michael Weir might argue he had that one covered. The young goalkeeper wearing the captain's armband today for Hume, I notice. And only 22 years of age. It's a fair effort. Just sliced a little bit from Attila Offley. Michael Weir probably been the outstanding goalkeeper in NPL this season. The reach he's got, the athleticism, certainly his heroics in the FFA Cup in that penalty shootout over Oakley Cannons. Saw Hume City through, and he's been a revelation.
I think he's ready. He's played over 100 NPL games, showing his quality and how experienced he is. 22 years of age. As you said, with Harry Monaghan out for Hume City, got that captain's armband. Now Cooper. He'll be looking to, hopefully, for Hume City's sake, be the ones I'll be holding that up at the end of the game. Ball through. Dixon keeps it inside. In the end, Mohamed Awad come across. Now Sewell. Awad will try to reel that one in, and coming through his bowler. Good challenge by the two. Full commitment from Awad bowler. Duzal. Knights working little triangles. Now Sewell just missed Nikolic. Cooper, who's no foul given. Jurkovic through. And a covering challenge from Wilson. Forward. Offley taken away from him from Marcellus. In the end, the Knights do get the foul.
There's a chance for them to send some tall timber forward. Aiden Bryce is great in the air. He scored on Wednesday night against Adelaide with a very impressive header. From, a delivery that was really didn't have much pace on it at all. He's a serious target off these situations. You've got Hamish Watson in there as well, of course. Nikola Jurkovic. The Knights have the edge in terms of size and strength.
And they make the most of this set piece. Oh, good delivery in. In the end, ball comes clear and it falls kindly for Hume. And again, they look dangerous on the counter. Here's Dalic, looking for support. He finds that in James Brown. Now they try to go for the big switching pass. She's out with a good block. Now Hewitt gets it back for Hume and Bowler. So you see how high the fullbacks get with Lazaridis. Now Dixon. And Stephen Hewitt. A real creator for Hume City. Ball's going to almost fall kindly for Marcellus. Now Offley.
We said the Knights have the edge in size and strength, but I think Hume City have the edge in terms of technical ability and pace.
And it's Brown. And trying to create something magical, but in the end it's easy for Chakarun. And now Sewell.
Harry come through on the Facebook Live asking what number is Umut. Well, he's on the bench, but we can tell you he's number 24, so keep an eye out for him in the second half.
Been really coming on for Hume City as Dugwan. Now once again it's Bryce. Takes charge himself. Once again he just can't find that right pass and now he's out of position. Bowler. It's 3 times now Aiden Bryce has won the ball back and charged forward and just hasn't found a teammate with the pass when the Knights have the numbers forward.
I think that maybe sums up the problems that the Knights have as a unit at times. They've got all the commitment.
Now it's Lazaridis, gets past Offley, cuts it back. Dalic. And the challenge comes in and now it opens up for the Melbourne Knights. Albano, it's 2v2. Can he find the right pass or go himself? John Albano, well read there by Tennant.
Hamish Watson is furious on the far side. He wanted that ball. Albano decided to go on his own, which I think was a defensible decision considering how far wide Watson had been pushed. But try telling that to the Kiwi number 9.
It was a full-blooded challenge there by Tennant. He was going to collect the ball or anything else there with that challenge, but fortunately for Hume, he clearly won the ball back. And once again, another big moment for the Knights gone wasted. Now it's Watson. If he can get there, he can't.
We had Lockie on the Facebook Live before saying it's perfect weather for Hayden Tennant to break some legs. I think he was being facetious as the handball goes against the Knights. Does tackle hard, but he does tackle fair, does Hayden Tennant.
He's always good for a yellow card, is Tennant. And I said his passing's been a little bit off today, but he's had some telling interceptions. Just at the moment, the Knights are really struggling with Hume pushing the fullbacks so high up the pitch and getting that overlap with James Brown and Mitch Cooper pushing quite narrow, allowing that space for the fullbacks out wide.
I do like the system that Hume City play. It is quite attractive to watch, even if they haven't scored as many goals as they would have liked to in the regular season.
Heath really had some teething problems with this system last year with how high he plays the fullbacks. It's worked so well for them this year, and they are extremely dangerous counter-attacking side. It's when sides put all their numbers behind the ball, it's Hume City find it hard to break down. In the situation where the Knights find themselves behind, they've got to push numbers forward and try to get back level in this game. There's Whitney's ball fine, almost found or wide. The bounce eludes in, as we've seen a few times on that side of the pitch. The bounce really kicking off the turf.
Sharp intake of breath for Danny Dixon, I'm sure, as the bounce was very cruel on him once again, but didn't do much for Muhammad Awad either. that side of the field might be a little bumpier than the rest.
A bowler for Hume. Tries to go route one. Bryce will get there first. Kellis and Cooper. He's back to Aidan Bryce and Chakarun. It could have been worse for the Knights in this game if it wasn't for that magnificent save off Mitch Cooper, and obviously Mitch Cooper, that long-range effort off the bar. Knights have created a couple of opportunities, but haven't really tested Michael Weir. Almost another cheap turnover in midfield. Now the cross comes in. Here's Watson. Now Offley, can he find the right cross? This goes to the back post. Dixon in the end just has to concede the corner. Not sure what was behind him.
We'll send Corey Sewell up to take the set piece again. Both these sides have specialist fullbacks taking the set pieces.
I've seen with Danny Dixon, he did score a screamer of a free kick against South Melbourne. He's also up for a corner and got a consolation goal against Green Gully last weekend. And now it's Sewell with the delivery. Near post, can deal with it. So we'll get another opportunity. Anthony Druzel. And here's Whitney. I'll try his luck from range. Took a deflection. Took all the sting off the shot.
Not the shot that the Knights were hoping for in the end.
So, Chance says, intense game. Mike Offley says, unforced errors time and time again. We're of course trying to pick out mates instead of playing where the ball needs to go. So it's out for a Hume throw, who seem to have looked the better side since taking the lead. They've settled down a lot more. Knights still making those errors.
A lot of Knights fans have been frustrated about how they've played this season. Obviously the finals are beyond them now.
This is their last shot at silverware.
They certainly seem to get up for the big games. It's always been something the Melbourne Knights have prided themselves on, with 10 Dockerty Cups in their trophy cabinet. And that's clear for all to see.
Just letting everyone at home know that the clock is slightly out, so we are at the 45 and we're into stoppage time now. So just letting the fans know that if it gets to 45 and we finish the first half without any stoppage time on the graphics, you'll know why.
Haven't had too many stoppages in this half. Been pretty free-flowing at least.
It's James Brown annoys the Knights fans in front of him and takes his time giving the ball back to Corey Sewell. It's been a good signing since coming over from Bulleen. And in the end, the referee has decided it is half-time here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. It is Hume City who took the lead through James Brown. Melbourne Knights have had their chances. Cooper's come close twice for Hume City, but in the end, it is Hume City who have one hand on the trophy at half-time.
Yeah, very good performance in the first half from Hume City. Created all the best chances of the game. The Knights had a couple of openings themselves, but I think Nick Hegarty's side have deserved the advantage at the break, and what a way to break the deadlock. James Brown with an absolute peach into the top corner to give Hume City the advantage going into this 15-minute break, and I think the Knights have it all to do. Marijan Cvitkovic has to come up with something to change the run of play, the pattern that we've seen in this game.
We've got now the kids coming out having a kick here at half-time. As we said, it is Hume City who have that advantage, and we're just going to go to a short half-time break. We'll be back shortly. With an early nutmeg. Led the line. And it's Watson, rolls his defender. And the drive it forward. Good challenge coming from Tennant. And then Tennant can't find a teammate. And here goes Aiden Bryce. Room in front of the big centre back, but he couldn't find it. As Waddle try to reel that one in, and coming through his bowler. Good challenge by the two. Pass will go himself. John Albano. Well read there by Tennant. Offley, can he find the right cross? This goes to the back post. Dixon in the end just has to concede the corner. That's the Knights on the ball. Albano with an early nutmeg. Sewell. Driven cross in. Almost a free header to Offley. One back by Sewell. In the end, it's a really solid challenge coming through from Paul Wilson. Quite cheaply, Whitney. Now here's Watson, chance to curl it, but that was pretty comfortable for Michael. And just can't find the right pass through. Hume City with Hewitt. Turns into trouble and in the end gives the ball away. Offley goes on a drive and puts it wide. And in fact, the foul has been given before that. Keeps it in. And Dixon's made his way to the back post. The cross comes in. It's a good header away there by Bryce. And led the line. And it's Watson, rolls his defender. And the drive forward. Good challenge coming from Tennant. Cross comes in. Michael Weir in the end was able to collect. The far side, Lazaridis. And drive it forward. Cooper's made a good run through the middle. And the ball's found it through. Mitch Cooper for Hume. Chuckaroon, what a save with the feet. Ball forward, McCallus gets there in front of Franjic, who leans on the boots and is very happy with just focusing on the managerial side of things, as now it's Watson. Fields opens up for him. Muhammad Awad on the left foot. And it was a great opportunity. Unlucky getting to a lot of semi-finals in recent years. Now Bowler. Hume City through Brown. Curls it. James Brown opens the scoring for Hume City. Opens the scoring for Hume City. And their star man is on the score sheet once again. Hadi Chuckaroon gasping at air, and it's James Brown and Hume City.
Had a bit of a journeyman career, Brown. He's played in the A-League.
Oh, here's a chance. Cooper off the crossbar. And in the end, Chuckaroon will get there. Tennant. In the end, Giselle Rod. In the end, Tennant can't find a teammate. And here goes Aiden Bryce. Room in front of the big centre back, but he couldn't find A-League opportunities in the past two. And he will surely get the foul for that one. Jack Morgan's going to come over to Aiden Bryce.
All the way up to centre forward position to try and press, and now they've got a defensive situation.
Oh, here's a chance for another Hume opportunity, and this time it goes over the top. Once it gets the cross in, Watson can't get the header. Here's Offley with the volley, and it goes wide. Michael Weir with the big dive. It wasn't. As Waddle try to reel that one in, and coming through his bowler. Good challenge by the two. Taken away from him from McCallus. In the end, will go himself. John Albano, well read there by Tennant. Can get there, he can't.
We had Lockie on the Facebook Live before saying it's perfect weather for Hayden Tennant to break some legs. I think he was being facetious. It's the handball.
Offley, can he find the right cross? This goes to the back post. Dixon in the end just has to concede the corner. Not sure what was behind him. And here's Whitney. Might try his luck from range. Took a deflection. Took all the sting off the shot. Hello everybody and welcome back here for the second half at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex for the 2019 Dockerty Cup Final, proudly presented by Mitre. And it is Hume City who took the lead in the first half with a wonderful strike from outside the area, curling into the top corner from James Brown. And we're just about ready to start a game. My name is Chris Gleeson. Welcome back, Josh Parrish, for the second half.
It's been a fantastic contest so far. The Knights with it all to do. Hume City looking very comfortable once they took that lead, really calmed down in possession, controlling the game mostly. So Melbourne Knights, what kind of response can they muster with no changes at the break?
The Knights really are a strong side. Once they get that little bit of momentum, they can score 2 or 3 goals quite quickly. So it's imperative that Hume City continue to try to control the game, to not allow the Knights back into it that way, because they really are play on emotion at times, the Knights. The crowd get quite vocal and involved. And it's a wide who tries to drive it forward. Tennant.
This is the choice of pass there that's let the Knights down. Award had Attila Offley in acres of space out on the right flank. He instead tried to chip a ball into a very low percentage situation. I think they really have to get Gian Albano involved and on the ball more in this second half. He's really vanished from this game, and he's such a crucial player for the Knights. If they can't get him on the ball, if he can't get himself involved, it's difficult to see how they're going to come back into the contest.
I always felt, especially the second half of the year when they've come in together, Mohamed Awad and Gian Albano are probably better suited to the wide areas. The ball deflects well for Dalic. In the end, it was held back by Bryce, and it was a good foul to give away because Hume were pushing 40 numbers.
Pretty unceremoniously shirt pulled by Aiden Bryce. He knew what he was doing.
For Dalic. He was a Novocastrian, so it was held back by Bryce. It was a good foul to give away. Newcastle Knights, that sort of challenge. Now Wilson. Hewitt. Flips it over. That's a dangerous ball, but in the end, Tennant did well to control. In the end, that pass once again just eludes Tennant.
Tennant and Bryce have almost had parallel games at the moment. They're winning every challenge, and then they can't pick out a teammate, but he did terrifically well to rescue that situation with a poor back pass.
Sewell just puts it forward. Harrison was there at the back to go back to Weir. The Knights will be looking to try to test a little bit more in the second half. Over the top, Cooper. Franic gets there. Nice one for Sewell to mop up. He does well to keep it in. It's again that indecision in midfield from the Knights gives it up too cheaply. Tennant. Hume doing well just to hold on to the ball here.
Kellis using his low centre of gravity to shield it there. Been able to hold on to possession with ease.
It's a good challenge by Franic. As the lights now take full effect here. And it's Wilson. Over the top with Cooper. And Franic probably had more time than he thought then and slices it out for a throw. Heath managed to get the clock back on track. So no issues like the first half, which on the scoreboard ended right on the 45, which was a minute and a half behind, but we're back on track, and now it's Cooper.
So no timekeeping conspiracy, just a graphics error. We're right in line with the scoreboard now as that late challenge goes in, and it will be a booking.
So Gian Albano. It's not the first time Stephen Hewitt has copped a pretty heavy challenge. Bryce got him in the first half. It was quite late.
Did try and keep the studs down, but he has caught Hewitt on the toe, I think, there. Painful one.
He's walked away. He's not going to be taking the set piece. Wilson over the ball. So Hume will look to play it short. Not sure who to take it. In the end, it's Marcellus who will restart the game. And get another throw.
I think Melbourne Knights will have to get at Steve Hewitt in this half. Such a crucial deep-lying playmaker. This is another booking.
Well, he's never been the best tackler. Theo Marcellus and stepped over the ball that one. It's been a strong game for him so far, and he's gone well over the ball. He's very lucky just to get a yellow for that one.
It's a nasty one from Theo Marcellus. It's more out of clumsiness than malice, but certainly dangerous. And John Albano back on his feet, good to see.
We've got one player each clobbered to start the second half.
Could be a spicy one as well with so much on the line. Two teams with everything to play for, not going to take a backward step.
Nathan Drizel. It's a heavy touch from him. And he goes in with a late challenge. He'll be the third booking in 3 minutes. Jack Morgan with a yellow card out once again.
After a relatively clean first half, Chris, this is spiralled. The referee's done everything right, I think, but the two players just sets of players going at each other with abandon.
You see a bit of frustration there from Drizel, who realised that he overran the ball. Jack Morgan now has a chat to a couple of players, trying to settle things down so things don't get too out of hand. Plays into Hume City's favour, this stop-start second half. The Knights have really struggled to retain possession in the opening 5 or 6 minutes. Now Wilson. The one-touch passing from Hume. Now Cooper out wide, Lazaridis. Trying to get it back to Cooper. Able to get a leg in. Now Brown turns away. In the end, trying to invite the challenge to come in and get the throw as Bryce made it.
So easy and comfortable in possession. Cooper and Brown, brilliant turn to split two players and accelerate away. That's the quality that those two possess.
Now it's Cooper again. It's Paul Wilson. Lazaridis tried to come inside. So there's Wilson to mop it up. Now Brown for Hume. Cooper trying the little flick. It's the right idea. The Knights deal with it. Just at the moment, the Knights just can't get the ball.
It's difficult to score when you can't get in possession, and they really need to start the supply line to Hamish Watson. It can't all be vertical counter-attacks. They have to start getting some crosses in. I don't remember the last time Hamish Watson met a cross from open play this evening. Certainly they've sent a few set pieces in, but haven't been getting into the positions where they can deliver.
Let's Hewitt again. Even when the Knights do make a challenge, the deflections are coming back to Hume City. And Hewitt out wide. And here's Dixon for Hume. On to the left, Danny Dixon over the top.
Does have that in his locker though, Chris.
Left foot, right foot, like you said, he's very similar to Corey Sewell. And the field just opened up in front of him. He thought, why not have a shot himself? Wasn't too bad of an effort, but it was always rising.
Very versatile, Danny Dixon. Through the Carlisle United Academy in the UK before winning an NPL WA title with Bayswater, and he was signed to play on the wings for Lujasevski's Hume back in 2016. But these days,
and the Knights look to go forward. And they'll get themselves an opportunity here for the corner.
These days playing more centre back and right back. He's the ultimate utility man.
So thought about taking it short. Bryce and Jurkovic and Watson. Cross comes in, it's headed away before Bryce had the chance. A wad, trying to get it back in now, Cooper. Good shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, so I thought there between him and Offley. He wants to take it quick, and Offley and Awad do well to stand in front of it. Once again, just that delivery from the corners. It's the third time now that they've hit the Hume City man at the near post. And that's Wilson and Weir.
Had so many set-piece opportunities on Wednesday night, the Melbourne Knights. And the goal actually came from when they played a short corner to Mohammed Awad. Aiden Bryce headed into the back of the net for consolation.
Now it opens up for Bowler. Cooper. And it was Whitney. Gets it back. Now got numbers out wide. The flag will stay down for Watson. Gets to try to turn himself. Retains the ball. Now this is where I like Albano in these wide positions. Going to cut inside. In the end, he still got it. Cross comes in, deflection corner.
Encouraging for Melbourne Knights. John Albano getting on the ball in an advanced wide position, and he has quality in those situations, as we know. Can take players on. Didn't quite come off for him there, but he's won a corner. Looks like he's pulled rank on the set-piece duties as well, with Corey Sewell in the box.
Unfortunately, this one was behind all the players who made the run towards the 6-yard box. Again, you know, Hume want to counter. Whitney and Dalic. Dalic uses that pace of ease. In the end was held back. He's very disappointed there, to say the least, with the linesman.
Giving the lino a piece of his mind. Marko Dalic. He's still giving him... hasn't let up as play goes on.
Ball comes back. Hume trying to get it back, and the challenge comes there from Hamish Watson. And surely now that Marko Dalic, for that spray on the assistant referee, might go into the notebook here.
Looks like James Brown's being called over as well.
As Jack Morgan does, any sign of dissent, he does like to slow the game down, allow the players to calm down a little bit. In the end, he hasn't gone to his book.
Surely a final warning, Chris.
Fourth officials and the assistant referees definitely copping a mouthful from the Hume City fans who have populated the grandstand on the far side. Looks like the first change will come through. It's going to be, looks like Ivan Grigic for Anthony Juzel.
Straight swap for swap. Like for like in the base of the midfield in terms of position, not in terms of playing style though.
Grigic will be that real tough tackling player, very versatile. And Juzel, who's more dangerous when he gets on the ball and can create, but hasn't had that opportunity in the second half. Hume City holding on to the ball for large chunks of his second half already. Hopefully Ivan Grigic can come on and try to win the ball back, but Hume City go forward again through Cooper. Dalic is in the box. Cooper tries to cross it a bit further than that. Still gets it away from Brown. Now Stephen Hewitt. Scott Dixon. Fires it in low and Chakarun collects.
Substitute Ivan Grgic has been the hero in the Cup this season already against South Melbourne. FFA Cup / Dockerty Cup match against South Melbourne, scoring that header. He'll be the hero again for Marian Cvitkovic's men.
Just couldn't find the right pass on that occasion, and once again the fullback Lazaridis goes forward. Keeps going, does Lazaridis, but can't get it to a teammate in the box, and Joey Franic will bring it forward. Now Wad. Hopefully goes forward. Wilson will cut it out twice. So much talent in that attacking third to the Melbourne Knights, but they just, time and time again, have just broken down from just poor passing.
The attacking players are starting to get frustrated with the service. Offley, Watson, odds with one another and the teammates trying to pick them out. Offley was so nearly in on that occasion.
Grugic made the challenge to try to get the ball back, but Lazaridis was quick to get to the rebound. Ball left a little bit short, so Tennant clears. Now Brown. And that's much better from the Knights, forcing Hume back and forcing the turnover.
Keep your comments coming through on the Facebook Live. Mike says Attila Offley's been wide open all night. Why aren't you using him?
He's just on the ball now and he finds Jurkovic, and coming in is Brown. And then Lazaridis kicks the ball into Jurkovic, and it's another flash point in this game. It will be a yellow card to James Brown.
Doesn't look like there's going to be any action against Lazaridis.
We saw those scenes where Mohamed Rahimi against Pascaval kicked the ball into a player and was sent off. Against Danny Thunder last week in the NPL.
Oh, here we go.
And in the end, Lazaridis is going to...
In consultation with his linesman, was the referee.
In the end, it's going to be a yellow card to Lazaridis, who really can't escape it for that. There was no need to play the ball into Jurkovic, who gives him a spray.
Still going on between the two of them, but well dealt with again by the match officials.
This little bit of anger and a flashpoint sort of plays on the emotion of the Knights. So you see the change here. Mark Callis, who's done a lot of work in this game, and George Howard now comes on. AJ Inia will be the next Melbourne Knights sub, but that won't take place right yet. Now, Corey Saw has struggled to beat the man at the near post in this so far. Now a delivery from Sewell. Once again, not as close enough to the goal as they would have liked. Deflection comes in. Albano, the offside flag goes up against him.
I wonder if the structure will change for Hume City now with Howard coming on. He is a very versatile attacking player. Formerly of Melbourne Victory and South Melbourne. A striker, but different sort of striker. That will be a retake.
As Watson rifles it into the back of the net. Takes the opportunity to get a bit of shooting practice in.
Of course. Free kicks have to leave the box, of course.
And AJ Inia will now come on. Until Offley's the man to be withdrawn. AJ Inia did get a late winner against Altona Magic at the start of the season. So Offley now takes his place on the bench. Chance for the youngster to see what he can do. So he can go long. Nice, decided not to go back to his keeper. Now Cooper, good jump from him. Now Dalic. Trying to go on the outside. And Hume, cross comes in, looking for Howard. Bit of pushing and shoving from him. He's always going to give away the foul.
Howard's an interesting player because this game sort of revolves more around playing teammates in and creating space for others as opposed to getting amongst the goals himself. He is capable of scoring, but...
He did have a good spell a few years ago as Tennant heads it away. Dixon in the midfield. Awad picks it up. Once again, the deflection comes back to Hume. Now Cooper. Howard, once again, leaves it just a little bit short. Now Hewitt.
Looks as if Awad's taken up a central position now with Albano going out to the left. Which is a change, I must say. I'm back in that situation. I want to see the likes of Inia and Albano using their pace.
AJ Inea goes forward. In the end, no foul given as Wilson gives him a mouthful as another flash point. Thought he went down a little bit too easy. I've seen that a few times from Paul Wilson this season where if he feels a player's gone down too easy, he's quick to give the mouthful.
Seems a little bit unnecessary, especially if the referee hasn't penalised him.
And looking on the replay, AJ did go down a bit easier, but it's that situation where he lost the ball as Jack Morgan's now going to come over to the bench. And be a yellow card too.
It was Adam Zilic. Wouldn't be the first yellow card he's got while being on the bench. He got one at Hume City last week.
So Morgan's gone to that pocket with the yellow card a few times this second half.
He's had cause to as well. It's been a fiery one.
Jurkovic to a wad. Cooper takes it off him and gets Hume the throw. This one's really been playing into Hume City's hands. There hasn't really been a huge amount of goalmouth action in this second half.
This time has really ticked by without too many notable attempts on goal from the Knights. A lot of it caught up in these disciplinary issues.
Now Wad, once again, he's clipped from behind. That's surely going to be another foul to the Knights.
Referee just waiting to see if the advantage was on.
But again, Hume City, and how dangerous the Knights are at set pieces. See Ivan Grgic coming on as well, adds to the aerial prowess that the Knights do have over Hume City. I think they've been, as we said, a bit lucky with how the delivery's been. As Coruscant really has to try to hit this near the penalty spot, give the Knights an opportunity to try to attack this.
Towering frame of Grgic right at the back post there, calling for it.
Comes in. So again, it's slightly behind the players, and Hume try to start the counter attack. Danny Dixon into the path of Dalic. Can he take it in his stride and get the shot away? Chakaroon with the save. Sewell will get to the rebound, and just anywhere will do.
So absolutely legging it. The ground that he makes up. Make sure he got there first to the rebound. Chakaroon, I have to say, has done well on his return to first team action with that long-term injury he suffered. Broken hand in training, I believe. Made a few good saves today.
I did see the photo of that with the finger poking out of the skin and that, so
gruesome stuff.
You know, just a training mishap. Now Hume City, can they look to try to double their advantage? The Knights have 3 players on the goal line. Goes into that area. Lucky for that, Bryce was the one that needed to be used. In fact, it was Watson. Well, the Knights just get it clearing out for a Hume throw, but it's a very precarious position at 1-0. Just that one little bit of magic from the Knights, and they're back into this game. Chakaroon should collect that one. He drops it. Gives Hume an opportunity, and in the end, a foul's been given. I'm not sure about that. I've always believed the goalkeepers can be a little bit more protected than what they should be. Look like a glancing blow than anything.
I have to agree with you, Chris. I think Chakaroon, just after praising him, he's been lucky there.
In the midfield, Cooper forward, Jurkovic, Hewitt, Cooper to Brown. Maserati sees it out for a throw. And of course, these beautiful pictures in different camera angles and the replays have been brought to you by Sportscast, who do such a great job with NPL Victoria and Football Victoria matches.
It's been a new era in that respect this season, Chris. The learning curve for everybody involved, but great to have all those NPL games streamed on demand.
Now it's Watson.
He stepped up the visibility of NPL football, and hopefully that will have some real flow-on effects for the game here.
Hewitt back to Weir. Now Brown, first time ball around the corner. We only find Franjic. And Cooper wins it back. It's an excellent game as Mitch Cooper. Can't find Howard, who's looked a bit heavy leg since coming on. Dixon again gets it back for Hume. It's one of his former clubs.
It's tough for a substitute coming into this game to really adjust to the pace straight away. So intense.
Cooper can't get the 1-2. As AJ Inayar slips over, as we said, with those substitutes. Ball forward by Cooper, looking for Brown.
Just that suspect area of the ground as well, I think.
Good challenge from Onawad. Once again off Hewitt.
Big tackle flying in from Ben Bowler there. Drew a shout from the Knights fans just down below us, Chris, but I think he did get the ball cleanly.
Now Whitney. And Bryce with the switching ball again, leaves it in between two Knights players. Allows Dixon to almost find the right pass. Now Tennant. So there's no doubt that Hume City deserve to be in front at this stage of the game, but there's a cup final. Anything can happen in a moment. Wilson, now Cooper. Just a little bit more room as Hume try to move it forward. Now James Brown. They come inside. And then holds on to Saul, as you saw there with the close picture. So what sort of things do you think the Knights have to do to try to get a bit more forward in this game and try to cause a bit of problems for Michael Weir in goal?
Well, they still have Caleb Mikulich on the bench. He's a creative force in his own right, but I think it's just a question of not wasting the opportunities on the ball when they get them. It's going to be hard for them to get consistent possession as Albano can't get that cross in. Too many of their promising situations have petered out to virtually nothing when it's been really a matter of picking the right pass. They need to keep their heads up, both literally and metaphorically, look for those teammates and try and just hit feet rather than putting all these balls into sort of 70-30 areas against them.
A good challenge there to get it back from the Knights.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about, Chris. There's so many cheap turnovers from the Knights. Unnecessary, trying to rush things.
How much do you think playing Wednesday night in pretty heavy leg conditions at Knight Stadium? Obviously it is a short turnaround, semi-professional footballers, but you get to the 70th minute of a game now, backing it up, it's you can sort of see they're a little bit wary.
That's exactly why I think it was off air, though I predicted a Hume City victory in this game, Chris. It's just so difficult to get back up for this big contest after all the emotion of Wednesday night and just the literal physical exhaustion playing against A-League opponents who take the cup so seriously in front of 4,000 fans. I think the players are quite heavy-legged, and I think that's contributing. You know, they're always putting the effort in as Knights win a free kick. And
there's another flashpoint, Howard. Jurkovic did lean into him in that, but you've got to be very careful in that situation. Jack Morgan was very quick and very close to see that. Looked like it was two guys trying to lean their heads up against each other than actually a headbutt. We'll get to see this on replay. In fact, Howard really didn't lean much into that. But you've got to be very dangerous because it's easy to get a red card in those situations.
Just don't get into the situation in the first place. We see so many red cards around the world in world football for very minor actual incidents.
Once again, Mohamed Awad now on set piece duties. Great delivery in. It beats everybody and goes out for a goal kick. Jurkovic there was closest to it.
Really using his head in a more constructive way. Just glanced it. I think it was the last touch off Jurkovic.
He was leaning into it. He just couldn't get any connection. But what a delivery by Mohamed Awad. They've finally been able to get one right on the money, and they nearly got that equaliser, as now the Knights will make that change. There will be Mikulich for Sewell.
We'll have to retool this as well. I can't imagine Caleb Mikulich playing left back. Three at the back perhaps for the Knights.
It's a system that they did try a little bit last year with mixed success. But they've got to try to change something up to try to get that equalising goal as Howard gives the foul away. Another little tasty thing between him and Jurkovic.
Referee played advantage on that occasion. Wasn't The ball was almost dead anyway, and that's a bad back pass.
George Howard with the chance for Hume. He goes himself, and just not enough power behind that shot. And now the Knights through Jokovic.
Disappointing connection in the end for George Howard. It was a shocking turnover. Those mistakes have cost the Knights dearly in their regular season campaign.
And they are trying to use a bit of trickery. Now Jokovic with the cross to come in. Hume deal with it. Now Cooper knew where his teammate was in Howard. He's done well to hold on to the ball, and offside is surely James Brown.
Just the wrong passing decision. It's Hume City's turn to make that mistake. Delic was open on the left, and Cooper went for his good mate James Brown, who didn't want the ball quite that early.
It really is a bit of Russian roulette between the two sides, where Hume, as you said, so dangerous from countering attacks. If they get the ball quick with only 3 at the back, they can cause real problems 3-on-3 going one way, but it will give the Knights opportunities to attack Michael Weir's goal.
You're right, Chris. I would be shocked if this game ends 1-0.
Cleared away by Hume.
14 minutes to play. I think something's got to give, with Knights risking everything and Hume City trying to pick them off in on the break, as we nearly saw there.
Sam Cooper couldn't find the right pass. Tennant. Ward couldn't take it in his stride. Now Delic will try to win the header. Jukovic nudged him under it and got the ball away. Now Mikulic. And Whitney. Mikulic did start in the number 17 shirt at the start of the year before moving to the 8. All over the top. Here's a chance for Watson. Heads it into his own path. Hamish Watson's forced wide. Cuts inside. Watson! And he curls it wide. Big opportunity for the Knights, and that's what they're after. Isolating Hamish Watson, letting him go to work in the box. With his left foot shot, he curls it wide.
With the best chance that Hamish Watson has had all night. And it's all his own work, really. A long ball. Gets that down under control somehow. Cuts past the challenge of Paul Wilson, but I think AJ in here at the top of the box was screaming out for a cutback. Can't really blame a number 9 going himself in that situation on his left, but maybe a higher percentage shot was offered by the pass. Hindsight though, 2020 as always.
And the chance goes begging for the Knights. Now Bryce. Albano in the channel. Tennant goes over. Quick to get back to his feet, but Jean Albano almost managed to hold on to the ball, the Knights. Looking for Watson. He is offside as he come back. Wilson did clear it, but the Knights are getting closer and closer. So now gives Michael Weir the opportunity to slow the game down. He's 22 years of age, but he's learned from Nikola Roganovic in NPL Victoria and Chris Theodoris of how to slow the game down late. I'm sure he'll a couple more goal kicks. He'll get a warning or a card off Jack Morgan. All out wide. Now Franic.
John Honos is another one who's infamous. Oh, it's a poor clearance. Knights get away with it. Yes, Michael Weir, the goalkeeper, mature beyond his tender years. Started off with the Brisbane Strikers up in NPL Queensland. Broke through quite early on.
It's great work from Mikulic. Once for Watson again, and he goes himself and drags it wide. As the Melbourne Knights, number 9's trying to take things on himself. Trying to drag his side level. Again, that little run in the channel between the fullback and the centre back is not watched.
Certainly another presentable opportunity for Hamish Watson, trying to take matters into his own hands at this stage. With just over 10 minutes to go in regulation as Hume City make another change.
It will be Mitch Cooper, who's had an excellent game for Hume City. Really created a lot of their attacking opportunities. And Umut Buzdugwan is now on.
We had someone in the comments looking out for Umut earlier in the match. He's going to make a cameo appearance A great performance by Mitch Cooper, the Vanuatu international.
Now the Knights get it back. Challenge comes through. Foul's being given another set piece. John Albano pushed past Hayden Tennant, not for the first time. We get to have another look at this. He was always holding on. And Jack Morgan sees it as a Knights foul and another chance for Muhammad Awad.
Really going either way, to be honest. Both players wrestling with each other, I think.
Comes in over the top and another chance there for Watson. Believed he was held onto and not allowed to jump. So going to get another look at the replay here. So there was a bit of holding both ways between him and Tennant.
Again, just like the free kick that it came from, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The referee decides to take no action. A very good chance for Hamish Watson, regardless of the pressure that was being applied. Point blank range header. You expect him on his day to bury those 9 times out of 10.
And Brown couldn't reel it in. As Mikulic drives it forward. Just want to try to take it quickly. Awad. See the urgencies. We're into the final 10 minutes here. It's the 2019 Dockerty Cup final. And then Mikulic has tricked himself and it's out. And if Hume City just try to defend for the next 10 minutes, they're just going to fight the pressure back onto them. It is the Melbourne Knights' best opportunity in this game so far. They've been pretty good the last 10 minutes since making that change with bat 3 at the back.
Certainly give them more attacking options. If you can call 3 changes at this point.
And in the end, Michael Weir's gone down. There's a little push and shove between him and Hamish Watson as
I think it's Jurkovic, in fact, who's in there.
Jurkovic comes steaming in thinking Weir went down a bit too easy. Jumps him to his feet and the boys have another little chat to themselves and the game will continue soon.
Ben Bowler in there playing peacemaker, I think. It'll be the first time we've seen Nikola Jurkovic this evening, let alone all season, involved in a confrontation.
Now everyone takes their position for this set piece. Again, the Knights try to create something here. Watson headed away by Tennant. As Lazaridis tries to not see the ball out for a corner. It hits the post and goes out for a corner.
With luck going against Hume City there.
Wad wants it short. Worked a goal like this in the FFA Cup. Awad keeps going into the box. Cuts it back. Who can tap it in? Hume get it clear.
It's Gergic who was closest. We'll get a retake. I do like the short corners from the Knights. They have had joy with them.
Intense moments in this game. How resilient can Hume City be at the back? Can the Knights pull themselves level late here in the Dockerty Cup final?
Inya wanted it short again. It looks like Awad will go the more traditional route.
Comes in, Michael Weir should collect, and he does. Disappointing, too close to the goalkeeper. And Michael Weir, the captain for Hume City in the absence of Harry Monaghan. Holds onto that clean sheet for now.
Did see him spill across earlier in the evening, but that one under 0 pressure. It was just a poor delivery again from the Knights from the set piece. Doesn't seem to matter who's taking them.
Ward holds on to it. And Wilson's out of position. Had to track the run of the tricky Muhammad Awad and into the channel. Michael Weir gets there first.
Muhammad wanted the run earlier. Again, the attack not quite on the same wavelength. They're getting into promising scenarios, but haven't been able to execute. Young substitute Inya gets a bit of encouragement though from Awad in the end.
Now up in the air. Delich gets the touch, but this time the rebound's Keep going to the Knights. Lazaridis. Back to Weir. He tries to pass it back to Lazaridis, and in the end puts it into the Melbourne Knights fans in front of us. Now Gurgic. Space in front of Bryce, and he fires it out wide. Miklic crosses it in. Deflection. Watson trying to flick it back, and in the end, it will go out for another corner.
Difficult one for Watson with the deflection to do anything with, I think.
He's just trying to flick it back into play for a teammate. Again, it's set piece after set piece for the Knights. Cross comes in. Everyone goes sort of to the near post. At the back was Inaya. Controls it.
Watson's kicked out there.
And the referee is going to go straight to a yellow card as Weir now pushes over a player. And it's Jurkovic. Plenty of war of words between the two. Surely Weir will get a yellow card for that as well. Gee, there was a pretty pushes him into the referee too. Weir. That was quite a fierce push. I'd be very surprised if Weir escapes the yellow card for this one once again.
I think the referee will have a chat to his assistant again, and we'll see similar to the Lazaridis situation. It's been a very hot-tempered second half. So many bookings.
As the Melbourne Knight fans now make their way, a few of them behind the goals to give Weir a mouthful. He gets that yellow card. So Hume City's number one. His first ever NPL Victoria game for Hume City. He got a late equaliser himself. The 97th minute equaliser back in round one 3 years ago. At the moment he's doing everything to hold on to that clean sheet. And Weir goes long. Hume really trying to hold on to the ball themselves at the moment. So the foul goes the Knights' way.
Knights have got to keep their mind on the task at hand, not get caught up in these little disputes off the ball. It's only taking more time off the clock for them.
Now a wad. Clips it into the back post, headed away. Still going to be alive for this shot, and it's deflected out for another corner. I've also seen a little tactical change for Hume. I think they're going 5 at the back with Bowler joining them. Ball's headed away from Albano. Miklic with a shot. Again, a little bit of push and shove. As the Knights look to have their 8th corner of the game. Ball comes in towards Jurkovic. Header comes over the top. And it will be a goal kick.
I wonder how long it is before Marijan Svitkovic starts to green light Harry Shakaran and send him up as well. Had a succession of corners. They'll probably have a few more, and Hume City will have some serious defending on their hands before they can claim silverware. Here they can just about taste it now. One hand on the trophy.
I haven't been able to retain possession after these Michael Weir goal kicks. George Howard and Marco Delic really have to do their best to hold this up. Ball finds its way towards Howard. Tries to go past Jurkovic. He does. He gets fouled. Hume City will get the foul. Nikola Jurkovic will take the yellow card.
Surprisingly enough, that is his first of the evening. Chris, he's been at the heart of so many of these confrontations.
Well, this is Danny Dixon range too. George Howard's in quite a bit of pain from that challenge. He looked like to be towards through. He was going to go through on goal, but his touch was a little bit heavy, taking it away from goal. So, in the end, it is a yellow card.
Surprised that, well, maybe a little lucky anyway, that Nikola Jurkovic stayed on the pitch for that one. It looked to be a clear goal-scoring opportunity, and of course was outside the box, so you can be red carded even for a footballing challenge. Referee opted for just the yellow.
It will be interesting to see how much stoppage time we will have in this game. It's been a very stop-start this second half. But a big moment here for Hume City. And Danny Dixon, can he score this set-piece free kick? Give Hume City the cushion. It will most likely see them win the Dockerty Cup. Their first major trophy in their history. And it will be 6 minutes go up. It is Dixon. It's straight at Chakaroon as he tried to go around the wall. Now Chakaroon straight away. Hume City with 5 defenders back. Wilson. Now Dixon trying to get back and help out his teammates. Trying to go the 1-2. It's well run back. And now Jurkovic. Cheered on by Melbourne Knight fans in front of us. Forced back with Howard. And in the end gets the foul. They take it quickly as Howard remonstrates, and now he's out of position. Awad drives at him. Left foot ball from Awad. Back post. Is it going to be a chance here? It's up and headed away by Tennant again by Hume City to save the day. They're getting that overload at the back post.
And Harry Chakaroon will go up for this one.
John Albano was there at the back post for it, so Chakaroon up. Knights committing everything forward. Weir collects. He can almost have a shot himself, Michael Weir. In the end, he does go long. It's not going to go close enough towards the goal. Wad quick to come back, and Knights retain possession. And another foul. Hume City just keep inviting the pressure back on themselves.
That's maybe exacerbated by the change to 5 at the back. Nick Hegarty is saying we're not getting any real possession going as the rolling ball will be retaken.
Once again, numbers forward. Chakaroon stays back this time. 2 minutes of stoppage time gone. The Knights get an equaliser here and possibly send it to extra time. Awad again with the delivery. Again, it's towards the goal. Weir comes up, doesn't collect. Howard gets it clear. And once again, the referee has given the foul to the goalkeeper, which I'm really not sure about this one.
I'm not sure if it was against the goalkeeper or the defender who's prone on the ground there.
James Brown has copped the Michael Weir knee in the back. I don't see where the foul has come through, where Weir's gone through his own teammate.
I think the foul went against Aiden Bryce, who maybe gave the goalkeeper just a little shove when he went up for the ball, but certainly a soft one. And again, keeper is protected species, Chris. I'm sure for any goalkeepers watching, they'll be vehemently disagreeing with us, but for me, that's a bit of a soft call in favour of Michael Weir.
Hume go out wide. Weir will find a teammate, and in the end, Bryce goes right through the back of him. And Aiden Bryce is trying to run away, but he will get the yellow card and a thumbs up.
And I'm not sure if the player is conscious here. Real concern for James Brown. He was flat out on the turf immediately. I'm not sure.
He's moving around, which is a good sign, but 2 heavy hits in a minute from James Brown.
I think he might have just briefly lost consciousness as his head hit the ground. Needs some water on the face now. Needs to be awake and okay, but I think he will have to go off.
Such a heavy challenge.
It was a brutal hit, Chris. Well, we can see his head snaps back.
He was never going to get to that, Bryce. That's in the end, Jack Morgan had to chase him to give him the yellow card.
He accepted it too. He knew he was in the wrong there.
And Hume do have a substitute warmed up. At the moment, James Brown's ready to continue. As we've gone 4 minutes here, but once again, we had a bit of stoppage time in stoppage time, so it's at the discretion of the referee. And it is James Brown's goal in the first half that separates the two sides. Hume City are almost there. Once again, the Knights get it back.
Looks like Mark Otcheng is preparing to come on.
The ball goes out for a Knights throw. Hume get it back. Dalic. They go towards the corner or go himself. Try to find a teammate. Probably better to just go to the corner then. Gives the Knights the ball back. And a chance to go forward again. Unea wanted to come inside. In the end, the ball goes out, and it will be a throw to the Knights. Jurkovic. Look to go forward again. Here's Whitney. Hume get it back through Wilson. Finds Brown, back to Wilson. In the end, the big defender knows where to go. He goes towards the corner. Hume hold on to it. Pozdugwan. He hasn't really had a chance to touch the ball since coming on. And in the end, Jurkovic swung a foot at it, and Hume get the throw. We're almost at the 6 minutes, Josh. And that's the time for that substitution to be made.
In fact, it's Marko Delic coming off. James Brown is seemingly staying on. Maybe did maintain consciousness after the hit from Aiden Bryson.
So Chang has a chance to come on. And yeah, Not Chang is like he will be playing in a wing position. He did score in the FFA Cup with a great finish against the Coomera Tigers, but it's all about defending at the moment for Hume. Lazaridis. And Hume get it towards the corner. Howard heads it out. Straight away, Jurkovic gets the ball and starts what could be the last attack here for the Knights.
Has to go route one now.
And that's exactly what he does. Tennant, his ball rolled around, Franjic. Now Mikulic. Plenty of numbers in the box. Can they get the cross in there? As Mikulic is still struggling to find that angle. Comes in looking for Franjic. Shouts at a penalty. Ball is cleared away by Hume. Morgan looks at his watch. Jack Morgan blows his watch. And it is Hume City to win their first ever Dockerty Cup. James Brown with the goal, and celebrations here for Hume City. They've done it. They've won their first piece of major silverware here in Victoria as they go celebrate with their fans. It is Hume City, the winners of the 2019 Dockerty Cup.
Well, Chris, I said I'd be shocked if it finished 1-0, and consider me shocked then. They have been able to cling on to this advantage through waves and waves of Knights pressure. They were great value for it in the first half, but the second half was dirty work. It was scrapping. It was the hard yards. And Nick Hegarty's side celebrate a well-deserved first ever trophy for the club.
Well, for probably 60, 70 minutes, they were the better side in this game. Created opportunities. Cooper come close a couple of times in the first half. But then the tide turned. Knights went to 3 at the back, really put pressure on Hume City. A lot of crosses, a lot of set pieces. And as you said, they managed to deal with it. They stayed resolute. Michael Weir holds onto that clean sheet with the captain's armband on. And look at the fans celebrate. The biggest moment here for Hume City as they win the Dockerty Cup, the most historic trophy here in Victoria.
This could only be the beginning for them in this campaign. MPL finals coming up. You know, they're a team that's shown the propensity to surprise this season, and then the FFA Cup as well, the round of 16 against Adelaide Olympic, a big away trip as well. But tonight they will be celebrating, claiming the oldest cup competition in the land, the Dockerty Cup, since 1909. So much history that's been reclaimed now in Victoria, and look at that beautiful trophy on display for them. The red and white ribbons.
So the flags of the Turkish flags, which have been flying high throughout the whole game. And the red and white army celebrate with their players as we're getting closer to the trophy presentation.
Any selections for the Jimmy Mackay medalist for you, Chris? Man of the match.
I thought Mitch Cooper created a lot of the attacking chances for Hume City, but I thought Hayden Tennant and Paul Wilson, that centre-back pairing, really held on to keep that clean sheet. So I'm going to go Paul Wilson.
Yeah, I think those two in the back, terrific choices. You know, they was just absolutely rock solid throughout that second half. Couldn't really go wrong with either of them. And, you know, James Brown, of course, scoring the decisive goal. He and Mitch Cooper, just such creative influences, so much quality and technique, and they just have the mentality and the calmness to be able to perform on the biggest stage. So I think you couldn't go wrong with really any of those four players. But it's been a real team effort from Hume City tonight against a Knights team that was, I think, just a little spent after Wednesday night's drama, and just such a big night for the club and the players as well. Tough turnaround time. It's been such a disappointing week for them in the end on the field, but you know, very successful for the club off it, making two massive games. The Knights will be very disappointed with the result tonight, but I think circumstances were a little bit against them.
Well, just a little bit of news too from Football Victoria that there's been a lot of talk of why the game was played in the southeast. Well, I can confirm the venue for next year, and the 2020 Dockerty Cup final will be in Ballarat next year, so that is now announced. There was talk of it this year, but next year it will be in Ballarat. As we get closer to the trophy presentation,
Ballarat will have a lot of football next year, with Western United coming into the competition, playing 4 home games there in the A-League, and then of course the Dockerty Cup final. So
you see the celebrations, the Dockerty Cup. It's going to go on the trophy as a few photos get taken, as Matthew Lazzaretti's mum there was pumping the air. Pulling Jonson, the long-time photographer for Hume City, is getting ready to take a few snaps to watch the side that he's watched for and photographed for over 30 years lift the Dockerty Cup.
And what a goal to win it as well. It seems like so long ago, that strike midway through the first half from James Brown. A goal fitting to win any football match at any level. Just the quality of the strike, the way Hume City set up the situation. A beautiful, beautiful goal that will be written into the club's lore for all of time to come, I guess.
So Hume City now, we get closer to this presentation. Now the Knights players sitting down in disappointment for a week that promised so much, but in the end are out of the FFA Cup and lose this Dockerty Cup final. And now just have a couple of league games to finish off the season for them. And Hume City now go back over to their fans. Great celebration. We've been a strong NPL Victoria club for a little while now. Under the president of Steve Kaya. And what about Nick Hegarty, a young manager who played for this club for so many years. A couple of times he won the gold medal.
Two-time gold medalist in Football Victoria in NPL. Such an outstanding midfielder, and it's a new era for him after 150 plus games for the club.
And the disappointment last year, where Hume City really struggled in his first year as player coach. Just the manager this year, and what a rise it's been from Hume City. They will be in the NPL Victoria finals. They will be in the final 16 of the FFA Cup. And in a few moments, they're going to be lifting that trophy there, the Dockerty Cup.
Such a great blend in this young group as well, between, you know, creativity and flair, and also just the defensive resilience and organisation that Nick Hegarty has brought to the club. That back four tonight, rock solid. Even a back five they had to go to with Ben Bowler joining in.
And we're just going to go now to the announcements here.
Sales manager from Mitre, Australia, Football Victoria President Kingston, and Marilyn Mackay, who will be presenting the medals for today's participants. To begin today's proceedings, we'd like to acknowledge today's match officials. A big thank you to referee Jack Morgan, assistant referees Alexander Liver and assistant Max
is getting there. Towards Jack Morgan, as you just said, Josh has really handled the situation, especially that second half.
It was a fiery contest in the second half. It's where referees have to stand up and earn their money, and Jack Morgan, along with his team, he took a lot of advice from his assistants when he had to, has certainly done that this evening.
So the medals go to Jack Morgan, Alex LeBert, Max Hammond and Lockie Keevers. And for the Jimmy Mackay Best on Ground presentation.
To its first ever World Cup in 1974. The winner of the 2019 Jimmy Mackay medal from Hume City, number 10,
Stephen Hewitt, British import, who did play in the EFL Cup quite a few years ago for Burnley. He's the Jimmy Mackay medalist for 2019. Hume City's midfielder who worked tirelessly in tonight's game.
Named in honour of the legendary Socceroo, whose goal took Australia to its first ever World Cup back in 1974, away in South Korea. Steve Hewitt, well deserving of the honour. It's been a team performance, though difficult to really separate one individual out of this unit.
Congratulations for a stunning cover to the Melbourne Knights Football Club. If you could come up and collect your runners-up medals as I call your names out. Number 1, Harry Dockerty.
And we go through, unfortunately, the runners-up, Melbourne Knights. They don't get to add to their 9 Dockerty Cups today. Last time they won a trophy was 2014 with the Dockerty Cup against South Springvale, but Hume City victors today, but they've worked extremely hard backing up from that cup game. You can see the disappointment for the Knights. They gave it a red-hot crack, especially late in that game.
Certainly did. They certainly put a lot of pressure on right at the end. You know, desperation football, but they rose to it and really gave Hume City a fight for their lives, a real test. Couldn't quite put the ball in the back of the net. They were second best today, I think, in terms of performance, but could easily have equalised. There's a few good chances created for the likes of Hamish Watson that, you know, some on another day might have scored and taken it into extra time, and then you don't know what could happen.
As the Knights players collect those medals. As we said, gallant in defeat. Now it's time for Hume City to get their championship medals.
If we could just get the captain up now, Joseph Franjic.
We're going to go to Joey Franjic to say a few words.
Joseph, you've had a grueling season so far. Such a good cup run, and you're so close, but it's such a shame. Great team performance, though.
Yeah, looking at that, it's been a long season, really wonderful today, but credit to you, they got the goal, well done.
Looking forward to the rest of the season, looking to finish on a high, so you've got a few games left. What are you hoping for the boys for the rest of the season?
Just the 2 games left, just give it everything. What can I say? More just try hard and hopefully win and finish the season on a high.
I was bringing the coach out if I can as well. Cracking effort from the boys, could have asked much more. How do you think the game went in the end?
Yeah, no, first and foremost, credit to Hume City and congratulations to the team and the heads. Well done. I'm very proud of the effort that everyone put in for the boys. Over their efforts all season and yeah, good effort.
All right, looking forward to the last couple of games of the year. Looking back on the season, do you think that you'll be able to sit down afterwards and look ahead with a bit of optimism?
Yeah, definitely. Look at the rest of the game.
Right, congratulations once again for a cracking cup run. Melbourne Knights.
It is well spoken of Melvin Switkovic, player coach for Melbourne Knights, who Unfortunately couldn't back up and play today, but trying to change things on the sideline and going to the back three almost worked.
Certainly got the players forward that they wanted.
So now the championship winners Hume City collecting their medals. There it is, Michael Weir. He's become, in my mind, probably the best goalkeeper not in an A-League outfit. Captaining Hume City for today with Harry Monaghan out injured. And now we're going to move to Michael Weir and Nick Hegarty to have a few words.
Boys have made history for the club. You're going to be going down in the history books. Must feel nice.
Yeah, great. I suppose we'll do it tonight. We'll get on the waters and
All right, we can bring head coach Nick Hegarty in. Nick, we talked about it at the start of the game. Big season, lots of matches, but this is going to taste sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, just got playing to the boys. They've cracked that season. They've really good start. I'm not definitely had a goal at the same time. So, ready to the lads. The team did what we came to do, so we'll enjoy it. And we'll move on to another month more.
Another tough month ahead, but you're going to allow the boys and yourself a night to enjoy the history-making cup win for this fantastic club.
Yeah, definitely. Probably after the 8 years now, so the first time we've ever been close to winning something, so it's a good feeling, and I'm pretty sure they'll enjoy it, maybe even until Wednesday, so we'll have Monday off and we'll go from there.
Yeah, now boys, you've got Monday off. I think they're looking that more than a cup win.
Big cheer there from the players. Semi-professional footballers having Monday night off training. Here it is, Nick Hegarty and Michael Weir to hold up that famous trophy, the Dockerty Cup. Hume City are champions for 2019, and may they celebrate. Hume City get the job done. James Brown's goal separates them and the Melbourne Knights. And you look at that beautiful trophy, and their name is going to be etched on it.
A trophy that spent some decades in a garage. It's polished up nice, the restoration beautifully done, and it will be treasured by these Hume City players who have worked so hard all season long and are rewarded with cup success. Massive vindication for Nick Heath and his group.
You see Will Hendon and Gideon Sweet, who started the season with Hume before suffering season-ending injuries, part of the celebration. And it is Hume City, as we must say, congratulations to them on winning the Dockerty Cup, the 2019 Dockerty Cup, proudly presented by Mitre. As they go celebrate with their fans now. Josh, it's been an absolute pleasure.
You too, Chris.
As it's Steve Kayer, the president, holding that trophy up.
I think we might try and go and weasel our way into the festivities. Looks like a lot of fun going on down there. It's been a pleasure, Chris, to be part of the broadcast in this great competition here in Victoria, this historic competition. Deserved winners, fantastic game. Thanks to all of you for watching.
And we'll just stay with it just for the moment as the fans now come onto the pitch to celebrate It's a big party here at Kingston Heath. Congratulations, Hume City, for winning their first ever Dockerty Cup. And my name is Chris Gleeson. Thank you, Josh Parrish, for joining me in commentary for tonight's game. And we hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and we wish you the best of a Saturday night. Thank you and good night. It's the Knights on the ball. Albano with an early nutmeg. Sewell. Driven cross in. Almost a free header to Offley. One back by Sewell. In the end, it's a really solid challenge coming through from Paul Wilson. Quite cheaply, Whitney. Now here's Watson. Chance to curl it, but that was pretty comfortable for Michael. And just can't find the right pass through. Hume City with Hewitt. Turns into trouble and in the end gives the ball away. Offley goes on a drive and puts it wide. And in fact, the foul has been given before that. Keeps it in. And Dixon's made his way to the back post. The cross comes in. It's a good header away there by Bryce. And led the line. And it's Watson, rolls his defender. Going to drive it forward. Good challenge coming from Tennant. Cross comes in. Michael Weir in the end was able to collect. To the far side, Lazaridis. And drive it forward. Cooper's made a good run through the middle. Been unlucky getting to a lot of semi-finals in recent years. Now bowler.
Hume City through Brown, curls it. James Brown opens the scoring for Hume City. And there's the
Scoring for Hume City.
And their star man is on the score sheet.
Once again, Hadi Chakran gasping at air, and it's James Brown and Hume City who take